One thing about Huda, she's going to piss everybody off. Huda is always going to take it an extra mile. She always wants to be the main character and she's going to do what she has to do to be the center of attention. Now, Ace and Huda, if y'all are interested in each other, just go ahead and explore your connection already. Please, can you just do that for us?
Kay Unscripted, no teens restricted. In this journey, watch our stories unfold.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. This is your girl Kay and welcome to Kay Unscripted. Today we're going to be breaking down yet another episode of Love Island Season 7, Episode 23. There's so much to discuss on this episode, but before we get into it, please go ahead and like this video, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more recaps like this one. Now let's get into it. So we left off with Taylor choosing Clark for the recoupling. Olandria is having a conversation with Shelly and Sierra. She's saying that she was completely blindsided. She did not know Taylor would have made that decision. And Sierra is telling her, well, girl, you know what? You've put all your effort and all your time. You no longer need to be doing that. You need to move on. And she's like, if it took him 4 days to turn his head, Olandria said, well, girl, it took him 5 minutes when you came in to turn his head. Shelly's like, screw him. He can go to hell. Forget him. Olandria said that for her, it kind of sucks having to start over. She doesn't know how she's going to navigate things moving forward. She's not sure who she'll be able to explore her connection with, but she's just ready to close the chapter with Taylor. So Sierra's asking her, well, girl, how did you feel coming back into the villa? She said it was a little bit crazy exploring her connection with Nick. It felt really wrong because she was so invested in Taylor and Nick was so invested in Sierra. And she said it's a little too late for them to explore. Now, the fact that she said it's a little bit too late means that I think they really do like each other, but because now Nick is so deep into Sierra, they cannot take it a little bit further. However, she tells Sierra that they did share a kiss and there was no spark between them, and afterwards she's like, why did we do that? Now we see Sierra taking the news very well. She does tell Olandria, I'm happy it was you he explored his connection with than with any of the other girls. But later on, we're going to see if she really means what she said. Taylor and Clark have a conversation. He's checking in with her to see how she's feeling. She says, I feel great. I feel amazing. Now, usually when there's some kind of shakeup in the recoupling, you'll probably hear the guy or the girl feeling a little bit guilty or feeling a little bit some type of way because of how things went down. No, not this time. And we know Clark has no loyalty to Olandria. She doesn't care. She's always seen her as the competition from the beginning. So she doesn't care how Olandria is feeling. Taylor, on the other hand, is saying, oh, I don't ever want two girls to like me the same anymore. Oh, I could have played it safe and picked Olandria, but no, I went with my heart. Oh boy, bye. Now, I'm happy that he found his person, but I just feel like Taylor should have been honest with Olandria. Even in the last conversation that they had, he kept on telling her, I don't know which one I'm going to choose, but he knew he was going to pick Clark. Essentially, they're talking, they have a cute little make-out session. Okay, so then he said to her, tell me about the guy over there, as in Chris. And so she's saying to him that, you know, they do have a connection and they're very similar. Ace is like, ain't nobody like me. Ace is like, please don't compare me to anybody else. There's only one me. So Shelly was just like, well, we did have a connection, but what I have with Chris didn't make me feel like I needed anything that I didn't already get from you. She then tells him, well, you know what? There's no one that can compare to you. And of course, Ace is feeling himself. He's like, okay, moving forward, what are we doing? She's like, we should still explore. Ace said, well, is he ready to go to war? I don't know, I just kind of feel like I loved seeing Shelly a little bit more with Chris than with Ace. Nothing to Ace, I just feel like she has more chemistry with him. They have more conversations. We've seen Ace being just surface level all of the time. We then see a chat between Zaki and Amaya. They're both just happy that they picked each other. She tells him that she would like to get to know him a little bit more. He gives a story about a cat that's missing, and he's just happy that the cat is okay and happy, and it's probably in a villa somewhere. Like, what? Sierra and Nick then have a chat, and she's like, "Tell me what happened, because usually anyone who comes in the villa always has eyes on you. So what happened this time?" So he said there was one girl that was interested in him, Jaden, but when it came to the recoupling, no one stood for him. He ended up going home, thinking that he was going. He got to the road and he saw the G Wagon pull up, and it was Olandria in the vehicle. They go to a garden. He then says that they kissed. They tried to explore the connection, but he knew immediately that it wasn't going to be anything romantic. It was just friendly. She was into Taylor. He's into her. And he's asking Sierra how she feels about that. She said she doesn't feel any way about it. She knows that their relationship is going to have a few tests, and she's just happy that it's Olandria because she trusts her. Nick then asks Sierra, "When did you know that Elan wasn't the one for you?" And Sierra said that for her, she did not have any desire for Elan. He's cute, yeah, they had good conversations, but that's as far as it went. She didn't want to jump his bones. When she's around Nick, she has this feeling of butterflies. She wants to be all over him, and she just didn't get that feeling with Elan. So Nick was like, "Well, do you want to jump my bones?" And Sierra said yes. She says to him that she's thinking of the outside world a lot, doing, the little things with him, like watching a movie, laying on the couch. He said skydiving, because we know Nick has that dangerous side to him, right? But he said that he's sick of the test. And she's like, "But you do love a test, Nick." He said he doesn't like testing their relationship anymore. So does that mean y'all are closed off? Because we need to know. TJ and Iris have a chat. They both missed each other so much. She talks about her experience in Castle with Zach C. She said she just didn't have the sparkle in her eye when she was speaking to him. He tells her that none of the girls were interested in him at first. Taylor had 2 girls, but then he pulled Vanna for a chat. The chats were really cool, but that made him realize that Iris was the one that he really wanted to be with. Then there is a chat between Andrina and Brian. He's just really happy to be in the villa and that they picked each other. Andrina tells him, "Well, I do need you to know that I would like to talk to other people, because this is what I wanted to do coming back to the villa. It doesn't mean that I don't like what I have with you. I do want to explore my connection outside of you." He said that he would like to talk to other girls as well. Huda has a chat with Chris. She's checking in to see how he's feeling. He said he's a little bit sad that some of his guys left, but he's okay. She said that she feels great. She's just happy that she's picked and she's still in the villa. Yet again, she brings up, "Well, how are you feeling about Shelly?" Like, she just wants to know if Chris is still hung up on Shelly. He's like, "Yeah, I do have a connection with her, but I want to get to know you." She tells Chris, "Okay, you could get to know me, but you could also do your thing. I'm not going to be mad at you. Oh, I feel like people feel like I'm not chill. I'm super chill. I'm super cool. Girl, everybody's seen you exploding, including Chris." But he's like, "Well, thank you for saying that." She then asks Chris if he lives in an apartment or in a home. He says that he doesn't actually have a home because he plays overseas a lot. Huda is like, "Well, my lease is about to be up and I'm going to be moving to LA." Now, I've seen Huda do the same thing with Jeremiah. Anytime she meets someone, she's already planning a life with the person. And I just feel like that's too much. Anyway, she says that she and her daughter's dad have already spoken about if one of them were to move. And so Chris tells her, "I just want to reassure you that I am cool with you being a mom." I think that was really big of him and very mature of him, because again he's seen how Huda gets down. But it was nice for him to just tell her up front, like that's fine with me. They talk about kids. He said he wants 5 kids. She says she definitely wants some more, but she wants to be married. Then she's telling Chris, "You make me so happy. This is the happiest I've ever been. Goodbye." Austin and Jaden then have a chat. They don't talk about too much. He just asked her if there was any percentage of her that felt like he wouldn't have picked her. And he's like, after the conversation I had, there was no doubt that I wouldn't pick you. And that's all. There's nothing interesting going on with these two. I don't know why Austin is still in the villa though. It's the next morning and we see a conversation between Sierra, Shelly, and Olandria. They're each talking about their connection and what's going on in the house. Shelly is saying she don't know how she's going to be able to navigate the relationship with Chris because she did have a connection with him. Sierra is also saying that she's not going to go out of her way to pursue anything with Elan, but she's also not going to make him feel bad because he made her breakfast in the morning when Nick had already made her breakfast and they're so locked in together. But Nick hasn't actually said that he wants to close things off with her. Then Olandra is saying, well, I have not lost my feelings for Taylor. That's the end of it. In the real world, I would have been done because what usually happens is once I move on, now they see my worth, now they see my value. I don't think that's going to happen with Taylor because he did say that he stands 10 toes down on his decision in choosing Clark. So I don't really see Taylor feeling any type of way if Olandria explores her connection with somebody or finds someone. Then we see a conversation between the 3 musketeers, Nick, Taylor, and Ace. He's saying that he woke up feeling good, he woke up feeling happy in his decision to pick Clark. Then he's saying he just feels like he picked Clark to be out of the triangle, but he's kind of still in the triangle because Olandria is still here. While he did vote for her, he would have wanted her to be out of the villa so he could explore his connection with Clark. Ace tells him, well, how do you feel now that she's there? Do you still have some kind of feelings for her or hope that things can work out still with her? He's like, yeah, but I don't feel like she will give me that chance, period. And she shouldn't. Nick says he doesn't feel any type of way about Elan being in the villa. He's already worried about him for the past 4 days and he's not about to do that anymore. He and Sierra already talked about it, so there's nothing for him to worry about. Ace also said that he doesn't feel any type of way because Chris is in the villa. He feels like if he told Shelly he wants to be closed off, she would be down for it, but he doesn't want to do it to seem like he's doing it because there's some competition in the house. He wants to do it on his terms. Now, I feel like the longer Ace takes to lock in his connection with Shelly, it's going to frustrate her because you have had the opportunity to explore all of these connections outside of Shelly. She came back, she chose you, you all picked each other. What are you waiting for? Then we see a chat between Sierra and Iris. They're happy because they sleep close to each other. And apparently Sierra and Nick did the do again. And the way the way Sierra was explaining it had me cracking up so much because we see Nick saying this was the best 44 seconds of his life. The first time it was 25 seconds. This time it was 44 seconds. Then they're talking about how weird it is seeing Taylor be physical with somebody else outside of Olandria. And Sierra says she's happy for Olandria because she also did get to explore her connection with Jalen and with Nick. Once she said Nick's name, Iris is like, what, wait? She explored her connection with Nick? What do you mean? Sierra says, well, they made out in soul ties. And she's like, what? They made out? So she's like, well, how do you feel? Sierra said, well, she doesn't feel any type of way. Though, am I crazy for not feeling any kind of way about that? And so we see Iris trying to get into Sierra's head. She's like, yeah, that's crazy. That doesn't make sense. That's stupid. Like, I get you're cool and all, but that's a little bit much. Sierra tells her, Iris, you're starting to make me second guess everything now. She's like, I'm sorry, but y'all just had sex and then your best friend came back to the villa and they made out and you don't feel any way about it. Like, Iris, she just told you don't make her second guess everything. If she did not feel any type of way, why are you trying to get in her head about it? Shelly and Chris head to Soul Ties to have a chat. They're checking in on each other. Chris pretty much tells her, I just want you to know that I'm still going to pursue you. Nothing is going to change. Then we see Ace and Taylor in the sauna having a conversation. I did not like how that conversation went down at all, because Ace is saying, oh, I was in the position where I could have saved Shelly or Coco. As much as I was interested in Coco, I felt like the connection I had with Shelly was better. And clearly he's a little butthurt because Shelly compared him to what she has with Chris, and he's like, oh, so you have the audacity to be torn between us, comparing us. But oh, that's okay. That's all right. I'm just going to take things up a little notch. I do not like that conversation, Ace, and I just feel like Shelly, leave Ace alone. Andrina has a chat with Orlandria, and we definitely see that throughout the time that the girls have been in the villa, everybody always goes to Orlandria for advice. So she's feeling a little bit torn because she said that she likes her connection with Brian, but she also has her eyes on Peppy and she would like to explore with him. Then we see Peppy walking with Grayson. And she's like, ugh, he's a target. And it was kind of cute. I feel like Andrina and Peppy would be a nice match. Essentially, finally have a chat, and she's like, usually I see a lot of eye contact between you and I, but today you're kind of looking away. And he said, well, I'm just a little bit focused. And he's saying that he's having a little bit of a hard time navigating this thing between Shelly and Chris and also exploring the connection with him. He then asked her if she regrets her decision in picking him. She said not at all. She asked him the same question and he said, no, I'll pick you a million times over. And I just feel like Ace needs to be a little bit vulnerable and tell Shelly how he's really feeling. She then tells him there was something with her and Chris, and she just wants to see if there's something more. Is it stronger than what she has with him? No, but they're not closed off. And he's like, got you. And I feel like that was his opportunity to say, I would like to be closed off with you. I would like for us to work towards closing off something. She also tells him, I'm thinking about what life is going to be like outside of the villa. How am I going to fit into your life? And all Ace says is, you're going to be a priority. I'm not even playing. I feel like if Shelly asked that question to Chris, he would have a plan. He would say, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Ace just said, you're going to be a priority. And that's not giving her too much. Then there's this boring conversation between Taylor and Clark. He's like, how does it feel? Like it's our first official day as a couple. And she's, it feels great. There's no substance in this conversation. He asked her how, like, what is her vision for her future home? And she's like, once it's clean and modern. Then he started talking about having horses in the house and having cows just outside. Like, what? Chris then pulls Ace for a chat and he's like, I just need to talk to you and let you know that this is not a competition. This is nothing about the egos. This is not going head to head with each other. It's none of that. He doesn't want things to be awkward or weird between them, and he just straight up tells him he does like Shelly. Ace tells him that he has no issues with him, and to him there's no competition. I just feel like Ace had to back down because Chris handled this so maturely. He was just, upfront about how he's feeling, and he was very respectful about it. And I like. Amaya then gets a text that reads, Islanders, get ready to raise everyone's heart rates in tonight's couples challenge, Hearts on Fire. And of course, everyone is screaming and happy because it's about to be another challenge. Now, everybody's practicing their stretches and their routines. It's later on in the night and everybody gathers together at the fire pit. Each couple will be performing a dance in a costume while the other islanders watch. The first couple up was Iris and TJ. She comes out in a Dalmatian costume, and he is a doctor. Next up was Amaya and Zach. I'm no longer going to say Zach because he's the only Zach in the house. And baby, Amaya, everybody was just cheering on for Amaya. He was a construction worker. Up next was Andrina and Brian, and they both looked really good. Andrina's body is bomb. She was a captain, I think, and he was an angel. Then the next couple to go up was Austin, who was a prisoner, and Jaden was a policewoman. They had a whole routine and all, and you could tell that Austin really enjoyed being a prisoner. He cannot dance for anything, but he was having fun. He was enjoying it. Up next was Shelly and Ace. Shelly was a bunny. And I guess Ace was supposed to be Fred Flintstones, but somebody said he was definitely giving Bam Bam. Now, y'all, Shelly was pulling out all the tricks, okay? She kissed Chris twice. And in the end, they shared a freeway kiss with Amaya. And I was definitely my Amaya. Oh, no boundaries now. No boundaries now is. And he's like, hey, babe. It was definitely funny, but it was like, okay. Up next was Huda and Chris. Huda was a housekeeper and Chris was a chef. Now, Huda was definitely pulling out all the tricks in the book, but when she was on her hands, how do they call it, her handstand, and she had her butt cheeks in Chrissy's face, I was just like, ew, like, no, that's, I don't want to be smelling anybody's booty. Like, what is this? Ew, like, no, it's a no for me. Now, in the end, they ended up swapping partners with Shelly and Ace, and the way Huda was going in on Ace, it was definitely the only thing they needed to do was take their clothes off, because the way she was grinding and humping on him as if they were having sex, it was, for me, it was too much. Shelly even said it was too much for her. Then she went into a 69 position, and I'm like, Huda, girl, too much. Now, it was everybody else who felt like they were doing absolutely too much, because we see Ace saying it was just a challenge. And Peppy even called it out. He said that looked like it was more than just a challenge. Now, we know we've been speculating. I too was speculating that Ace was interested in Huda, and maybe that's why he was going in on Jeremiah so much. It's definitely giving that they have some secret thing going on, and they're just afraid to exploit each other, because what the hell was that? Huda leans over to touch Shelly, and she's like, girl, she was really wanting to say, please don't touch me. Get your hands off me. Okay, I said it for you, Shelly. Shelly told her, we'll talk about it later. Huda's like, oh, it's just a challenge. Anyways, y'all, up next was Peppy and Grayson. Grayson was a pirate, I think, and Peppy was a dark angel. Up next was Sierra and Nick, and they were both cowboy and cowgirls, and they were definitely giving a routine. For me, they were the hottest couple. Now, Sierra was pulling all her moves, right? She didn't do too much on Elan like she promised, but baby, when Nick went for Olandria and he started sucking on her toes, it was definitely giving, she's still my queen. And in the end, they shared a three-way kiss with Shelly. Now, Olandria pulled, she pulled Taylor last, because remember, she and Elan did decide that they would have picked their person, right? So Elan picked Sierra, and baby Nick was pissed as hell. Clark was also bothered by the fact that Olandria did pick Taylor. He didn't seem like he wanted to do too much. He definitely looked like he wanted to touch the cheeks, but he didn't want to because he was thinking about Clark. And last to go was Clark and Taylor. Clark was a cheerleader. Taylor was a football player. Yo, what's up with all of the girls dodging Nick and going for Sierra? All of the girls were giving Sierra kisses. So here are the results of the heart race challenge. Iris's heart was raced the most by Nick. Amaya's was Peppy. Andrina's was Peppy as well. Jaden's heart rate was raised the most by Nick. Shelly's heart rate was raised the most by Chris. Huda's was Elan. Grayson's heart rate was raised the most by Nick. Sierra's heart rate was raised the most by Elan. Olandria's was raised the most by Chris. Clark's heart rate was raised the most by Ace. Now here's the result for the guys. TJ's heart rate was raised the most by Grayson. Zach's was raised the most by Sierra. Brian's heart rate was raised the most by Sierra also. Austin's heart rate was raised the most by Amaya. Chrissy's heart rate was raised the most by Shelly. Peppy's heart rate was raised the most by Andrina. Nick's was raised the most by Iris. Taylor's heart rate was raised the most by Olandria. Ace's heart rate raised the most for Huda, and we're not surprised. So the couple who raised the most heart rates was Sierra and couple my faves. It's the end of the challenge and Huda is upstairs with Andrina and Amaya. She's telling them that Shelly is mad at her because of her and Ace and what went down with the challenge. And she's like, oh, everybody's been telling me to be in the challenge. And the minute I do, they're like, they have a problem with me. Well, the reason why they have a problem with you, Huda, is because you always take it an extra mile. You did the same thing when you were quote unquote trying to explore your connection with Pepe when you knew he was deep into Hannah who went home, right? And you went and you were tonguing down Pepe for a challenge and you're like, oh, I didn't know we had to do that part for the challenge. You lied. You knew exactly what you were doing and this is exactly what you did with Shelly. We saw you crashing out. We saw you pissed, calling these very same girls all types of bitches because they were doing a challenge with Jeremiah. And so now you're upset because Shelly called you out for doing too much. Meanwhile, Shelly's with Sierra, Olandria, and Iris, and she's like, am I tripping? Sierra tells her, girl, no, you're not tripping because out of everybody, why did she pick Ace? And Shelly's like, she had all these boundaries for us when it came to Jeremiah, but now she doesn't care about anybody's feelings. Shelly says that Huda told her, oh, I brought Chris in for you. I made this decision for you so you could explore. And Shelly's like, no, you didn't do it for me. You did it for you because you've been interested in Chris from the jump. Huda is still in the conversation with Amaya and Andrina. And she's like, oh, she's still mad at me. But I'm like, F it. I'm going to pick Ace and I'm going to do my big one. And then she's like, oh, I think what pissed her off the most is because I made his heart rate the most. Like, go by. So Andrina goes downstairs and she sits with Shelly and the other girls and she's like, Huda pulled me for a chat. She tells them that Huda's like, I don't know why Shelly is mad at me. It's just a challenge. She pretty much summed it up. And Andrina is saying that the challenge is pretty much to do something extra to the person that you like. So Shelly's like, I don't care who she does it with because when she had her connection, she's like, oh, y'all can definitely go ahead and do the challenge. But she was low-key not expecting us to do anything with her person. And when we didn't do anything, she was so happy and like, oh my God, thank you so much for not kissing, for not doing too much. So why does she feel like she has to do the same thing with all of their connections? Shelly says for her, it's about respect. She doesn't care if Huda is interested in Ace. Have at it. It's just, you know, you had boundaries for them when you were with Jeremiah. And when it comes to them and their connection, there's no boundaries. And like I said, we've seen it happen before and she did it again. Now Huda's in her confessional and she's crying and I'm just tired of Huda and her tears because like I said, she knew exactly what she was doing. So guys, tell me what you're thinking of this episode. How are you feeling about the heart rate challenge? What do you feel about Shelly and Huda? Shelly feeling some type of way that Huda did too much. Do you think Huda did too much? Please tell me what you're thinking. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.